Sega is absolutely killing the game with not only representing Sonic as a series and as a character, but also the different characters and respecting their arcs instead of just making them one-off written characters as Forces did. Or I'm sorry, 2010's meta era kind of made them feel like they had no part or had no role or whatever, weren't even important anymore. So with that being said, with the second most popular character in the roster, I think it's about time we give that same love to our favorite psychonetic hedgehog named Silver the Hedgehog. Shout out to Puddle of Cheese for suggesting this type of video. As he stated on my last stream, he's a really big Silver fan. And somebody who also is a really big fan of Silver, Ice, decided to go ahead and honor his wishes and decide to make a video all about how a Silver game would definitely work for the series, if done right. So subscribe to Puddles of Cheese and get him to 200 subscribers, okay? And with that being said, let's get into this discussion. Silver the Hedgehog has so much potential to being more than what he already is in the comics and in the games. Especially in the game, Silver kind of needs a little bit more love because he feels more of like of a support character, if you know what I mean. But Silver has more potential to be a main character more than just a side character that's had a decent role, but never like going back to his like original story, kind of like Sonic or Shadow would. Or even characters like Tails and Knuckles would be going back to their original like roots and saying like what made them special and what made their arc special. But for Silver, we really don't see that. And the crazy thing is, he has potential to have his own game, to have his own spotlight in the movies, and they literally do have plans in the movies to make Silver an important character. And yet, Silver has been playable a few times, but that's only in like certain spin-off games or party games or sports games, because his first debut when he had his own moveset and character design and like pizzazz and like kind of just creative character motif and whatever, like having his own story and having his own reasons for why he does the certain things that he does in the games, is it all started with 2006's biggest failure for Sonic Team. So Sonic 06 being an absolute failure and being Silver's debut, like if you connect those together, then you get discontinuation or Sega being scared to attempt to mess with 06 gimmicks and stuff. Like you see what I mean? Like, because this was Sega's biggest failure. Because this has severely damaged Sega's biggest IP. And for so long, they've been listening to the wrong criticism, but still they had that hope. And that hope was found in the most recent games like Sonic Frontiers, where they found a game to where they can expand on the story, the gameplay, and the characters to remind themselves how far they can push this series with its creativity and its original vision. In short, Sonic 06 had a lot of vision and potential to be an amazing game, but because it was such a failure, and Silver being one of the eye-catching characters that held people on for this game, they couldn't risk another failure because of some dream. At least not yet, though. Now, mind you, the story is really half and half, whether you either think it's like mediocre, whether you think it's the best Sonic story ever, or it's a bad story. It really attracted a lot of attention towards the Sonic community. And a lot of the things that were left over and over Silver's Silver's past, like how he met Blaze and how everything turned into ashes from Evolus, that never really gets expanded like how Shadow's story does with multiple games. So if we were to do the same thing with Silver, and then let him shine for a little bit, then this will be one of the biggest W's that Sonic Team has ever done. Keep in mind, Sega decided to do a Shadow the Hedgehog game after the last Shadow the Hedgehog game was, let's say, mixed on reviews. But they prevailed and were like, you know what? We're going to try again making another Shadow game, as well with the Sonic movie being the main focus on being Shadow, and many more different things such as Sonic Dream Team updates, Angry Birds, an anime and a manga. Like, now with the budget that they have from Frontiers and the movies and Sonic Prime, if they can do this for a character that was originally clowned on for being too edgy, or another character that was stated to have the worst games in the series, they can do this for Silver. So now, which begs the question finally, how would that work? Simply put, they have to answer all the questions. How did Silver get his powers? Who are Silver's parents? How did he meet Blaze? And after we figure out what makes Silver special, then how will we upgrade Silver like how we did with Sonic and Shadow? Like, there's so much shit you can just work with, like being creative with for Silver. We can make an arc to where Blaze doesn't remember Silver at all, and then Silver go through that trauma and saying like, Blaze, you know me, and then we have like a whole arc of like trying to befriend Blaze once again. Or we can work on Silver's character confidence, and then it would be a good introduction to Sonic in the story. And then we can have an arc showing how Silver looks up to Sonic in so many different ways, or how the cast looks at him. And then maybe we can have a new form for Silver, or we can have finally a return for Super Silver, honestly. I think Silver should have an open world game, similar to Frontiers, who's like kind of like Generations, and I guess combat could be a mix-up of 06 and Frontiers as well. Maybe giving Silver some holograms, kind of like how Supersonic has hologram moves, kind of like the chained up move, or the Supersonic spears, or then just like lifting people into the sky. Like, I'm saying like maybe we could do that for Silver, you know? And then just imagine the Silver the Hedgehog miniseries just to support the game and such. And this is just speculation, but you know, they could use Mephiles again, maybe. And this could be like a devil on the shoulder kind of introduction to Mephiles' character, representing the self-doubt that Silver has in himself versus the confidence that he builds up later in the story. Now, it doesn't have to be actual Mephiles, but it could just be Silver from PTSD and whatever. But then some comfort characters like Blaze or Sonic or even Amy Rose will be able to comfort Silver, saying that he'll do just fine. And then that's my thing though, it's just like Silver has so much potential to like have his own story, have his own games, have his own show. They just have to know what to do with it. And which it might sound like a high bar for Sega to be like, oh, what do we do with our characters nowadays? Now with what they're doing with Shadow and what they're doing with other characters, may not be too far to reach, honestly. Also, thankfully, we are in an era to where Sega, compared to all these other different companies, actually listen to their fans. And who knows, even from their Twitter takeover, they already know how popular Silver is with the fan base.
Where did all these Silver fans come from?
Who doesn't love Silver? The guy's got a good heart, even if he can be a little over the top. His determination to save the future is something I can respect.
Now, I think that's enough to conclude on why Silver should have his own game. But what do y'all think? Should Silver have his own game? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. This is your boy, the Undercat YT, and I'm out of here.